Well, the Chicago Bulls roll the dice versus the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday. So on today's episode, we have to talk about it. We'll rest in the starters, Backfire, in a crucial matchup versus the Miami Heat tonight. Did the Chicago Bulls miss an opportunity? And we gonna see if it's gonna pay off. Y'all know we gonna talk about it all and break it down. But you gotta hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you're tuned in with me today, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. The Chicago Bulls, they faced off versus the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday. They said the game really didn't matter. that's what the Chicago Bulls told us. They pretty much sat all the starters except the young rookie, Montes Buzelis, and they was in Cleveland, and Cleveland won the game as they should, and we expected, and they locked up the number one seed on the Chicago Bulls. It was an interesting game for the first quarter, and then got out of hand in the second quarter, and then the third and the fourth quarter, the young Bulls tried to make a run, but ultimately just not enough firepower to go up in Cleveland and beat Cleveland at home, even without Donovan Mitchell, because those guys still had all their starters on there, and we was pretty much playing our G League team. or the young guys. I ain't gonna go too hard. I ain't gonna go too crazy on them, but it is what it is. So the Chicago Bulls, they rolled the dice. Now, did they miss out on an opportunity? You ask me, I say yeah. Now, there is no guarantee that the Chicago Bulls was gonna win this game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go out there and act like that the Bulls were absolutely going to win. But I would say if the Bulls would have taken this game seriously, or at least looked at what it will take to move up those standings in the play-in, you would have given yourself a good opportunity to win this game. The Cleveland Cavaliers started out, you know what I'm saying, a little shaky in the first quarter, shooting the rock and all that, and I think that would have gave the Chicago Bulls a decent amount of momentum to carry for the rest and throughout the game. But I can't lie. The Cleveland Cavaliers, most of their players shot the ball pretty damn well from the three. You had Evan Mobley go 3 for 6. Darius Garland, man, he looked like the next coming of Steph Curry, at least for one night, scoring 6 or 10 from the three. Dean Wade off the bench for 3 for 4. And then you had DeAndre Hunter go in and add 17 points for the Cavs. Now, I say they missed out on the opportunity simply because the Atlanta Hawks, who is just one game above the Chicago Bulls in the standing as it currently sits, if you win that game, you give yourself a stronger chance. I do understand the opposing side of it a little bit. Again, I understand it a little bit. Don't necessarily like it, but it is what it is at this particular moment because you feel like this game tonight is a crucial matchup for the Chicago Bulls versus the Miami Heat, and what could really help determine how the standings are going to look in the play-in, kind of in a way. Now, the Chicago Bulls, they do hold the tiebreaker over the Miami Heat. Even if they lose tonight's game, they will still hold that tiebreaker, and it does make sense to kind of sit it after you consider that the Cleveland Cavaliers before last night's win was 33-6 at home. But me personally, I don't run from smoke. I'm a competitor myself. Even in the podcasting realm, I want to be one of the best or the best guys to come up on the mic and break down analysis and give my takes, whether that's in basketball, football, or whatever we talking about, even if it's real life situations and we got to have a back and forth and I got to stand on my point of view. So I looked at the Chicago Bulls a little funny. I ain't going to lie to you. But when you talk about the Cavs last night, they had no Donovan Mitchell. We would have had Kobe White. We would have had Josh Giddey, Nikola Vucevic, and we would have been all right in my personal opinion. I think we would have given ourselves a strong chance of winning last night's basketball game. But again, the Chicago Bulls elected to go another way, allow guys to rest up. And if you do face the Cavs in the first round, you don't give up too much if we talking about schematics on, you know what I'm saying? Even though I don't think that's a good reason to sit guys out because you already played this team plenty of times this season. And it's not like you haven't played these guys forever throughout the season, multiple times, more so than you play teams on the West. Like a Lakers team, you might see twice a year, but the Cavs, you can see up to probably 4 times a year. So it's still interesting. And when we think about the standings and where teams are really laying or where they currently stand, you look at the team in the Atlanta Hawks who are 1-4 in the last 5 games. And their last 3 games of the season is against the Nets, the 76ers, and the Magic again. But it still calls into question on what the Chicago Bulls were thinking, because if that's the last game of the season that you're banking on in that matchup versus the Magic and the Hawks, what if the Magic say we good at being at 7? And if we lose this game, it won't matter much. And they sit their players, and the Hawks still come out with a victory with that. Now, I understand that in the last 5, they are 1-4, and they haven't been playing particularly well. But the Magic have been playing well, and in that last game of the season, they could probably just rest their players like the Chicago Bulls have done. And then you talk about those Magic and just thinking about how well they've been playing over their last 3 games. They're on a 3-game winning streak. In the Heat, bro, the rest of their schedule is looking like the Magic, the Hawks, and the Bulls. It's a bit light. So that's why you had to take advantage of an opportunity to potentially position yourself to doing well. And if you do, let's just say for the sake of discussion, match up against the Miami Heat again, there's no telling if you're going to come out of that play-in game with a victory. Nothing is guaranteed in sports. We see teams that's supposed to win lose all the time. And how many times have the Miami Heat kept the Chicago Bulls from advancing to the playoffs in the last few years in matchups in the play-in? Simply because Eric Spoelstra comes out there and coaches tail off. Now, I understand Jimmy Butler is no longer with the franchise, and he was one of those guys. But when the Bulls had the game locked up within that last 5 minutes of, I think it was last year, the Bulls let it go. And Billy Donovan didn't adjust. And Billy Donovan and his players made bonehead mistakes. So nothing is guaranteed. Hence why I was pushing for the sweet spot. I wasn't trying to be greedy and say, let's move up to the 7 seed. I just said I want a full plate of food. Don't just give me the chicken. Don't just give me the fish. Give me some sides with that chicken and fish. Let me go ahead and get some asparagus and something else to go with it, a starch or something. Give me something to go well with this chicken, and we're going to eat it right. Give me something else with it. I just want a plate so we could have moved up into the sweet spot at number 8 and lock it in. So when you ask me if we missed out on the opportunity, absolutely, I believe we missed out on the opportunity simply because we duck smoke, in my personal opinion. It does make a little sense to sit the guys, but I think if you go out and win that game and you go out and carry some momentum in this Miami Heat game, who has players that's popping up on the injury report. You had Tyler Hero miss the game a couple days ago with that thigh contusion. You got Andrew Wiggins, who's listed as a game time decision. You got Bam Adebayo dealing with back spasms. You give yourself a good chance. And it's not like you running into these games with guys that are 32, 33, 35 years old. Maybe Nikola Vucevic is up there in age, but the rest of these young guys are just young pops. So that's why I feel like they missed out on the opportunity. And that's what leads me to the next point, to talk about the crucial game tonight. This game is about to be, or at least have, at least in my opinion, or at least before we, watch a possession of basketball, I'm viewing it as a potential playoff atmosphere versus the Miami Heat. This is a crucial game. The Chicago Bulls rolled the dice, and they better hope it don't backfire. Because if they come into this game, and lose, I understand we'll still have a tiebreaker. I understand we'll still be in a play-in. But now it'll have us scratching our head like, what? Why? Wouldn't it have you scratching your head? Wouldn't it have you ticked off? I'm going to be highly upset if we lose this game tonight. I'm not even going to lie to you. And I know the Chicago Bulls are not making it far, even if they do make the playoffs. But it's just going to further justify why some people was on the pro tank side. And then it's going to make the Chicago Bulls look even more foolish because they said they want to protect the integrity of the game. They want to go out there and win as many games as possible. That's why it's going to be a slap in the face. So I hope that it pays off. I'm going to root for the squad. But this game is going to come down to the Chicago Bulls coming out the gate with energy, coming out the gate and executing plays and maintaining that same level of intensity throughout the entirety of the game. Head coach Billy Donovan told us that these young players should be developing in meaningful games like this. This is one of those meaningful games. This one right here. You can't bank on Bam Adebayo not playing well because of back spasm that you've seen on the injury report. You can't bank on Tyler Hero not playing well because of a thigh contusion. You can't bank on not Andrew Wiggins not playing well because he's a game time decision. We know Eric Spoelstra is going to coach this team to the umpteenth degree tonight, especially versus Billy Donovan. And if we already anticipate a game plan being surrounded and focused on Josh Giddey getting downhill and not allowing Kobe White to light him up. So, Billy Donovan, what is your counter? Which Chicago Bull is going to step up and help out the team outside of a Josh Giddey and a Kobe White? How efficient will Josh Giddey be? He's going to have to protect the basketball. He's going to have to show and be efficient in the paint and get shots for his guys. And when those guys have those open shots, guys got to make the shots. It's going to require a team effort, a good effort from the Chicago Bulls. Now, obviously, if we watching the game and we get down and we have a major comeback, I'm going to be going crazy. Y'all know we going to be going crazy. Simply how we looked at the Lakers game a couple weeks ago. We was going bonkers. I damn near lost my mind. But I'm also nervous for the sake of the Chicago Bulls and watching this game tonight. And I'll be real with you, because nothing in this league is guaranteed. Nothing. And I know that the Bulls are 2-0 versus the Miami Heat. But I seen when it really, really mattered, the last few seasons, the Chicago Bulls lose to the same Miami Heat that they always played tough. Because it came down to the last few minutes. Now, a counter to that is that the Chicago Bulls have been playing good basketball when it mattered. But a counter to that is we've seen Josh Giddey in some moments not perform well over the last few weeks. Kobe White not be aggressive as we needed him to be when defenses collapsed on him inside the paint. I don't necessarily know or believe that they have a player that could probably slow down Kobe White to the umpteenth degree to make sure he doesn't take over this game. Maybe an Andrew Wiggins, maybe. But it's going to be a lot of challenges. And for those that are wondering, we will be live tonight, rooting on a team to see if they can pull it off. If they pull it off, we in there like swim well. If they lose the game, get ready. There's going to be a lot of people discussing the Chicago Bulls and their plans over the last 24 to 48 hours. There's going to be a lot of discussion, and it might not be pretty, even coming from us. Because I'm a competitor. I would have loved to see them try to go beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. But it is what it is. What's done is done. Now we move on to the Miami Heat, and we see what the Chicago Bulls are really, really made of. That's how it's going to play out for us. And we'll see y'all tonight, man. We're going to be on playback. we got that whole thing situated and worked out. Because it was a crap show to start that one off yesterday. But man, we will be ready. We will be ready. We will be ready. Let's see if the Chicago Bulls are going to be ready, because you got to come out firing. Come out and fire. I'm talking about belt to backside, or as my other people say, belt to ass. Let's see what's to it, though. And they got to execute, man. But hey, that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Before y'all get up out of here, make sure y'all let us know how y'all feeling in that comment box. I know some of y'all was like, hey, I'm not mad at them sitting them for the Cleveland Cavs. I understand the logic. Like I said, you don't always have to agree with something to understand something. Shout out to my man's Drip for throwing it out there, because that shit just hit the nail on the head every time. You don't got to agree to understand. So, but yeah, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all always see red, man. We're going to catch y'all tonight on that live call. And y'all already know we're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac.